What's up, and welcome back to the vlog where you join me with a Maserati Levante. Now listen, I know Maseratis are not the coolest thing ever, but they are what I am shooting today. This is a Levante Modena. It is a V6 model, so it is a 3.0 liter twin turbo V6. And as you can hear, I have it in sport mode. The valves are open. It's a brand new car, which means it's probably like $140,000. Well, actually the valves are closed. Now the valves are open. As you can guess, it is a $105,000 car that is probably worth about 70. It has 43 miles on it, 2024. It is a brand new car, even though it's a 2024, which is kind of odd. It says it's worth, according to Kelley Blue Book, $80,260, even though it has 40 miles on it. And it's 105. It is Bianco, which is white. It has the 3-liter twin turbo V6. I am reading straight off the app. This has the climate package, the multimedia package, and the panoramic roof. Not many other options. I don't even know where the sticker is at for this car. Just kidding. 2 seconds, I found it. It is a $118,000 sticker, and it's already listed for $105,000, so that's crazy. This car only has $1,200 in options. It has the Turismo Pack GT, so rear light and dark finish. The tail lights are like the dark cherry red. It has black window surrounds, and the total is $117,000. It is an Modena Ultima, so that means it already has a bunch of options, but still, pretty crazy. Additional options as well. Now listen, most people hate the V6. I don't necessarily love the V6, but it's not bad. It makes a decent noise. You guys can let me know what you think about it. Okay, we're gonna leave it in normal mode for a second, and then we will put it in sport mode, because sport mode opens the valves, which it still sounds good though. All right, wireless Apple CarPlay. Now listen, again, I don't want this to become a review channel. I want this to be a vlog channel. The problem is I can't really get clickbaity titles out of that, and if I do, or if I make the title about one thing and I have a different car in the video, people get mad, which is just silly. These are actually metal, which is cool. So there are some things about Maseratis that are still cool. This steering wheel it feels really cheap. Like, I don't know what about it, like why, but this leather feels like trash. All right, sport mode, which honestly doesn't do anything when you're driving. I don't think the valves are open when you're driving. It's only when you're sitting still, which doesn't make any sense to me, but hey. And this car is really cool. It's just not worth what they're asking. Which isn't the store's fault. It's Maserati's fault with their pricing. It just doesn't make any sense. There's the valves. Finally opened. So you have to get above like 2,500 RPMs. I don't drive these cars all that often because the dealership just does not care about this brand. This is one of their smaller brands for sure. They do care about them, right? They want to sell more Maseratis. The thing is that they don't care to make content over the other brands. Right? I only do so much for this store every month. I only do one video and one photo shoot for this store every month. So they don't want to waste it on a brand they don't really care about. I hope that makes sense. Right? The AC seats, by the way, they work really well. Makes a nice little shift noise. It is extremely slow. Like, this thing must weigh a crazy amount of weight, because I don't even know how much horsepower it makes, but it's got to weigh a lot, and it's got to not make that much power, because yes, of course, it is a twin turbo V6, so it still feels torquey, gets you around town totally fine. But for any kind of sport driving or fast driving, it feels very slow. It's smooth enough, right? And you probably just want to keep the dampers in comfort, because it's decently smooth for how big the wheels are, but If you put the dampers in sport, it's a little too rough for me. I don't like it. I also cannot stand the fact that the valves are only open from, well, whatever idle is, 500 RPM, 800 RPM, to 1200 RPM, and then they close themselves regardless of what mode you're in. And don't open back up until 2800, I think. It was 2800 RPMs. That drives me nuts. Because I have it in sport mode, because I want the valves open. I can manually adjust the dampers on and off, regardless of sport mode. And obviously I can have it in manual mode. That is a big tree branch. I need to hit the tree branch. And obviously I can have it in manual mode so I can control the gearing, so it's not holding gears too long, because that doesn't make any sense. Why would I want to do that? Sorry, I had to check, make sure my microphone's still on the back. I always get nervous it's gonna fly off, eject itself from the conversation. So I just check and make sure the mic levels are still bouncing all over the place, because if I had lost the mic would disconnect from the camera, and then I would no longer be getting a audio feed. This is a good straight right here. Decent, right? It's okay, but it's not anything you would expect for $100,000. For $100,000, you'd expect some really fun, makes a decent noise. Well, it does make a decent noise. Take that back. You would expect some really fun, decently quick car. And it's quick, but you would expect faster. The transmission is not bad. It's the ZF8 speed. That makes sense, right? So I guess you could say Maserati did a good job picking that transmission. I don't know how you would call that. And for how big this car is, right, it does a decent job. I just wish there was a little bit more. See, you can hear the valves close themselves again, which I don't know why. It's so weird. And I like the sound it makes on shift, and I like, I mean, it's dramatic enough for me to like it. I like theatrics. You know, I want to feel, I know every car to a certain extent has some theatrics, but I want to feel a little bit special driving a car. I want it to feel different than just be any other car, right? It was a good noise. It's a good noise. For a V6, that's a really good noise. And I like these metal paddles. They're actual paddles, right? They're not buttons that most $100,000 Mercedes and Audis and all those have. Those have buttons. Even the R8, buttons. I like actual paddles. They actually move. I like that. That's cool. Now, to me, is this particular car with this old Chrysler Tech, and obviously it's not Chrysler, it's FCA. It's not even FCA. It's actually Stellantis. Exactly how it is, 2024, right? These haven't been updated, which is crazy. 2024, is this worth it to me? Now, I would use CarPlay for the most part when it comes to like tech, but the clock feels chintzy, cheap. It's surrounded in plastic. Is this worth $105,000 to me? Absolutely not. Would I maybe pay for this exact car? Obviously, you'd have to have more miles on it to even be worth that. But would I pay $40 for it? Me. It works really well on these long sweeping turns. An SQ5, like a 2024 SQ5, or SQ5. That'd be a great car too. Actually, I would take that car over this car. That car's smaller, but I would take that car over this car. But a 2024 SQ7 or 8 is what I was thinking. Those are around 80 with like, maybe not a 2024, maybe like a 23 with like 20,000, 30,000 miles on it. But I would take one of those all day long over this. You have a V8. I like that, right? I like the shifts. I like the noise. First question in the comments. What do you think about Maseratis as a whole? Right? Then next question, what do you think about Levantes? This body style, the outside has been refreshed slightly. The interior has been refreshed even less, but it is basically the exact same car that came out in whatever year this is. It sounds decent. I like the way it sounds. I wish the valves would stay open at all times when you click sport. See, if not that I ever would own one of these, because I would be scared to death that it would break. Probably will. But if I did own one of these, I wish there was a way to make the valves open. They're a little too boomy, right? It's a little too noisy at low RPM. No, still closed. They close themselves immediately when you're driving. But like in a parking lot, when you're like idling or barely even moving in a parking lot, I think below like 5 miles per hour, they're open and it's so loud and boomy, kind of like this. That's decent. I like that. But in a parking lot with the valves open, too loud, too noisy, too much drone, too much boomy, which I do not like. Too quiet. I am not sure why, but it is super windy. There's those cherry taillights I was talking about that was on the sticker. I really like this front end. The lighting right now looks pretty nice, I think, other than my goofy shadow. And these guys are kind of messing my video up, but I like the front end of these. I like that they updated the front, the bottom of it. I'll throw up a picture of what a couple of them at the dealership look like without the updated front end. Now this is an Ultima. This is a Modena Ultima, so it has the sportier looking front end like the Trofeo. So it has these. Those are real. Are those real? Oh, those are real. Look at that. Yeah, I really like the way this thing looks. Drives pretty decently. So you guys let me know. What do you think? It comes with this freaking tank of a key that has a rubber thing on it, but it's all metal, very heavy. But again, it's an old Maserati key, not the new one that the Gran Turismo or the MC20s get. I have driven a couple MC20s. That's a cool car. Very cool car. I love that car. Same, not same exact engine, but very close to the same engine. Sounds insane. For what it is, this thing sounds really good, right? With the valves open and all that. I didn't even show you guys the interior, I don't think. I guess I did in the montage. I think it has the red stitching on the seats. The interior is not bad. The problem is all of the Stellantis switchwear, buttons, indicator stalks, like everything is Stellantis, and they didn't make it different enough to be worth. And for $105,000, this is crazy. For $105,000, this should be metal, not plastic, and it should probably be illuminated at least. I haven't driven one of these at night in a really long time, so I can't remember if it has ambient lighting, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. That's gonna do it for me and this video, and I will see you guys in the next one, which I think is a C8 Z06. I'll catch you in the next one. See you later. Bye.